think that we've all experienced feeling in a rut at one time or another. That's why the book we're about to talk about is so relatable. It's called The Me List, and it's a story about daring to live outside your comfort zone. And joining me now is Sammamish-based author Julee Balko. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So you've described The Me List as a self-help with fun characters who are also flawed. So set the plot for us.
So The Me List is about two women, Patricia, who's basically perfect, probably like you,
Oh, yeah.
and Olivia, who's basically a perfect disaster, a little bit more like me. And they are neighbors but not friends until Patricia hires Olivia as her assistant and challenges her to write a Me List, which is 10 things that will change her life. And the list winds up changing both of them.
I love this.
Yeah,
this
so
is
it's totally fun,
fun,
empowering. There's some sad moments too, so all these wonderful things in one book.
But isn't that life? Isn't it a little bit bittersweet,
Yes,
even in the
definitely.
fun? So when Patricia challenges Olivia to write a Me List, she says it'll help her get out of her suburban mom funk. How is that possible, and what is a Me List per se?
So a Me List can be 10 things, can be 20 things, really it's up to you, but it's things that will bring you joy, it's things that will help you grow, and really the most important thing is you look at yourself kind of with love, not like judgment. It's not like, hey, you need to work out. It's like, what do I need? What will change my life in a positive way? And I feel like as women, we often don't do that. We don't put ourselves at the top of our own list, and that's where the idea of the Me List comes. Like, empower yourself and think about what you need.
Okay, so as you're saying this, I'm in my head, and I don't know if y'all out there are in your head too, thinking about like, what would I put on my Me List? And I don't even, like, I'm blank. What are some examples?
So for Olivia, I tried to pick some very simple things that any reader could read and be like, oh, that sounds nice. Like maybe it's just like taking the time to enjoy a cup of coffee and learning how to make a cappuccino yourself, which is something she does.
Okay.
Maybe it's conquering a fear, like zip lining. She's afraid of heights and her daughter really wants to go zip lining. I'm afraid of heights, so that was a pretty easy scene to
to write. You wrote that very well.
And maybe it's some challenging stuff. There's a relationship with her mother that's pretty toxic that she knows is just keeping her back from life. So that goes on the list as well. So you're not going to be able to maybe check off everything on your Me List, but it's going to help you grow.
All right, so what happens though when you do go ziplining? What happens when you live outside your comfort zone?
Well, I think that's when you really live, and that's when you really grow. I know, like even this, I'm a writer. I spend a lot of time in my head just talking with you and coming here and talking about the book. It's that little thing where you push yourself, and that's what life's about. That's when it gets exciting.
I was actually just thinking this on the road to work today. Is that when it's taking those chances. You don't learn if you don't grow, and you don't grow unless you take a chance. I think moms, though, specifically feel really guilty about taking too much me time for themselves. How do we push through that guilt?
Well, I always joke, like the idea of a list. As a mom, I have a list for my kids. I have a list for like school, the weekend, but I don't have a list for myself.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't feel guilty about that. I actually heard from one reader who read this, and she's like, I spend so much money on my kids' like sports and music, and yet she felt guilty spending money on a yoga class. And this book helped her realize, like, hey, you know what, your growth is important too. So now she's doing yoga, and I watch her videos because she's on Instagram. And awesome, right? Like she's more powerful, which makes her a better mom.
That is great. It really does. I have a friend who says that, my friend Leisha Howard. She's always like, if you want to be a good parent, you got to first be good to yourself. Yes. Inside the book, there is a space where readers can create their own Me List. Have you heard of any of your readers, like from them, what they're putting on their list?
I've heard from a lot of readers, and that's been the best part about being an author is they're taking yoga classes, they're hiking, they're taking new classes at a university that they never would have, or going through really tough transitions. And I heard from one reader who was pretty upset by this transition and then read this book and thought, you know what? This is the time of me now. I'm going to look at it differently. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I think that's really great. This is a great helping tool, something to kind of inspire you that it is okay. What a great gift for someone who might be going through a hard transition.
Yeah, great gift for Valentine's. Fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with the book.
Amen to that. What is on your Me List, if I may ask?
Yeah, so obviously I do have a Me List, and top of the list is I'm working on a third book, and I want to just make time for it. I often fit in writing between my kids, so just having that focused time. I live in Washington, so more hiking is on my list, and just more time with my three girls, because they're growing up, so those small moments of joy.
It really is. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, hey, so what do you think about lately? And I think it's so important that we all actually just take that moment to not really it's so hard, but we have to take a moment to just go, the small stuff doesn't matter. We really have to just enjoy what we have in life, and it'll work out, right? It usually works out no matter what. All right, well, let's hope that we all make our own me list.
Yes, definitely.
What is your favorite scene in the book?
That's a good one. Actually, it has nothing to do with the two main characters, but there is a rescue dog in there named Marvin, who I fell in love with, and I hear from readers they fall in love with. So there's some wonderful just moments with the dog that really helps the character out that I loved writing.
And that's such another great part of it, is that, you know, it's not just our kids, it's not just our life, but our me list also includes our furry friends too.
Yep, definitely.
That is so great. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for writing this book.